entrepreneurship stuff is hard, but do not be afraid to grow slowly. Do not be afraid to find out who you are, and let entrepreneurship be the gym that helps you strengthen who you are, not what you do. I'm loving the process that I'm in right now because yes, I am ambitious and I'm going after stuff, but as I'm going after stuff, I'm learning about myself. And I'm trying to fix certain things about myself. They're showing up in business, but these are like flaws that I have as a person, but I'm aware of them now. And of course, I'm probably going to look back 5 years from now and say, well, I had no idea what I was doing.
7:45 a.m. Catch me on the morning meetup, hosted by Shands.
So today, I want to have a conversation around a particular belief that I had that I no longer have. Okay. For a very long time, I believed that everyone should do something entrepreneurial, even if it's not your own business. I mean, even if it's not your main source of income, I believe that everybody should do something entrepreneurial. You know what I mean? Like to put your own mark on the world. Do something. You can have a job and have a nonprofit. That is entrepreneurship, right? You can have a job and maybe the people at your church like how you bake cookies. So just bake some cookies just to feel what it feels like to be an entrepreneur. I don't know if I still feel that way. I don't know if I still feel that way. Is that okay? Is that okay that I've evolved and grown? And I don't even know if maybe I'm not growing in the right direction. I don't know, but it is evolution in a thought. And I have some reasoning behind it. I want everybody to know. Now, this is an entrepreneur. Most people, I would say that most people join this call because you like to either be an entrepreneur or you are an entrepreneur. But this whole entrepreneurial thing is somewhat dangerous. Now, before I get into like why you shouldn't be an entrepreneur, I do want to go through some pros of entrepreneurship. Okay. One of them is you get to set your own paycheck, which is really cool about entrepreneurship. Before I get into that, over this weekend, I had a real struggle with making a lot of money. It was a conversation that I was having with some friends, and the conversation honestly made me feel bad about making a lot of money. Not in totality, but going into another space where I'm servicing people at a higher level. Because some of the people that will want to be serviced at a higher level will do their very best to be serviced at a higher level, but they're not necessarily ready for that. So for the person who says, I want to be a part of a higher ticket mastermind, my struggle was for those that stretch to be in a room. So for instance, I was just at Rick Ross's house yesterday, and to be in that mastermind, that group was $25,000. It was a brunch, and last month, I believe it was last month, we had it was like a 2-day workshop, and it was $25,000. Now, for the people in that room, the large majority understand investment, and we understand that we have to invest to go to the next level. Now, I think there was probably a smaller group of people who maybe invested all they had to be in that room, and they're expecting a certain result. And if they're not mentally prepared to not get the result as soon as they thought they would get it, it could be over ambition being a stumbling stone for you. because you're stretching to be there, but you're not mentally ready to be there, because you think when you get there, you're like, after this, your whole life is going to change. Now, here's my battle with this. I'm thinking, well, it could hurt some people because they're just not ready to be there, and their ambition got away from them because they're not ready to do the work. But on the other side, the things that have changed my life is why I've invested more than I had, because I was willing to step up to the plate. But the conversation I was having, I said, man, what about those people who are stretching to invest or go the extra mile and will travel? They'll spend their last on a plane ticket to go to an event. They just spend their last, right? Out of that group, some people, it may put them in a tough situation because they're not, when they get home, they're not going to do the work. They thought that the thing that they invested in, they're so used to a trade-off. I put this in and I get this back. I work 40 hours, I get this amount of money back. I can predict that. But entrepreneurship isn't that way. But for me and a lot of people, I'm sure, that are on this call, you can remember spending your last, and that was the thing that took you to another level. So I'm having this conflict over the weekend with entrepreneurship. And look, check this out. I was on I was on with a group, and with that in my mind, I said to them, do not. So I'll tell you. So it's a $35,000 mastermind, and I'm only telling y'all because y'all are family. Y'all okay, right? Y'all okay with me sharing my journey over these years, right? Like my goods, bads, ups and downs. Anybody that's been here for a while, you might be new, but anybody knows that have been here for a while, everything I go through, whether good or bad, I'm going to share it with you. My insecurities of being a trash father when my baby was coming, I was shook. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't really know how to take care of myself all the way. How am I going to take care of a baby? I'm brand new married, trying to figure out the husband thing, and then another baby. So how do we split the time and still be an entrepreneur? And still, I share that. But this is my these are the pressures that entrepreneurs go through. So what I did was I was telling people, don't invest unless it's comfortable. But I realized I robbed some people of the stretch of investment that could be the thing that turned their life around. But how do you balance that? How do you balance that? You might have a $2,000 course, and people are going to try their very best to invest the $2,000. Some people win, some people lose. Some people invest their last because they think it's the thing. And it's not necessarily the thing you invest in that changes your life. It's the decision to invest in being in something that creates something different in you. That says, I am willing to do it all. I am willing to give it all. If you don't mind the scrapes and bruises of entrepreneurship, you will become a successful entrepreneurship. But if you're looking for a trade-off, it just doesn't work that way. So back to this event at Ross's house, I was talking to Trap and Donni. And we had a difference of opinion on this particular topic, but we came to the same resolve that, hold on. We came to the same resolve that that every room you get into, you're going to get something out of it. Sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's a little, but sometimes the little is that one little thing that was it could be the one connection. I didn't get anything from the stage. I didn't get anything from the event, but the one connection that I made, we went out and did something amazing. But these are the struggles with entrepreneurship because you got to figure it out. But let me tell you, let's start off on a good note. Do me a favor, put in the chat one of the benefits of entrepreneurship as I go through this, okay? Because I have a couple of benefits that I wrote down. And one is the ability to set your own paycheck. Entrepreneurship is amazing because you decide how much you get paid. Now, in a job, it's not that you don't decide because you can go on interviews and demand what you want. But if you're in that seat at a job, it's not like I can go get more money tomorrow. Typically, jobs don't work that way. Entrepreneurship says, I'm saving. I have a wedding coming up this weekend. I need to go make some money to buy some clothes for this wedding. I can put in extra work and I can go get some money. I think only entrepreneurship provides that. It's really dope. If you want to turn it up, you could turn it up. If you want to chill, you could chill. If you want to front load the work and you want to like spend this whole month doubling the money that you'd make over 2 months, and you can take off the next month, you can do that. Entrepreneurship is absolutely amazing. Number 2 will be, I guess, the freedom to experience all that your 24 hours has to offer. I think entrepreneurship is cool because you have the freedom to experience all that your 24 hours has to offer. I remember working at the Cheesecake Factory, and it was a somewhat autonomous job. It's not like I'm sitting at a desk and I can move around and I can go to the back, use my phone and do all that kind of stuff. But I had no control over those 8 hours that I was at the Cheesecake Factory. I couldn't experience all that my 24 hours had to offer. I think that is something I think everybody that wants that should go after that and experience all that your 24 hours has to offer, where you don't miss anything. I'm excited about that fact. Look, number 3, I would say you have a better chance as an entrepreneur of becoming mega wealthy. Crazy, ain't it? You have a better shot as an entrepreneur of becoming the super rich. I'm talking about lifestyles of the rich and famous. I'm talking about MTV Cribs stuff. Not saying that you can't do it if you're not an entrepreneur. I'm just saying you have a better chance because your income is unlimited. If you're not an entrepreneur, your income is capped. All capped. This is a cool benefit of entrepreneurship. You get to empower and employ your community. Ain't that cool? I find great satisfaction in knowing that there's about 10 people that I pay on a monthly basis. I feel good about that. I feel really, really, really good about that. That I stimulate the economy. In me being I think I am a good person. You can be secure if you're doing what you're supposed to do. I'll keep paying you, and I'm flexible, and I'll work with you. But I think that's really cool that you get to employ and empower your community. Not only just pay people, but to work with them. So, for instance, I got y'all know Jovan. Really good relationship. He works with me very closely. And not only do I get to pay him, but I get to empower him on a couple different things. So there's ventures that we can go make money together that we do together, which is really cool. So there's a particular business that we work on, and he gets to decide while he's working with me. He gets to decide how much money we make in this side business. He runs my Patreon. He gets to decide how big he grows that. But also, I get an opportunity to mentor. When it's not going right, we can have a conversation. I'll say, let's point this out. I sent him a message, and I sent him something. I said, tell me what's wrong with this. Not just, yo, this is wrong, right? Here, tell me what's wrong with this. And he said, oh, well, this is what's wrong. I said, absolutely. Let's talk. Let's pay more attention to that. I feel good about that. I work with Jen all the time. Now, again, we both empower each other. We both get to educate each other, but from an entrepreneurship perspective, I get to pay you and help cultivate your greatness. I'm excited about that. I think entrepreneurship is dope. Here's what's cool about entrepreneurship too. Typically, the work is front-loaded, meaning you have the ability as an entrepreneur to work really, really hard for a few years. And if this thing works out well, you can work really, really lackadaisically, if that's a word, for the next few years. I talked to a guy who took 10 years off. He took 10 years off. Bren, you are doing that cleanse. Can I admit to that I have to start over today? Because this weekend. First of all, and Bren, is that 2 scoops? That needs
two. This is of the parasite candy.
I know. Your joint look real light skinned though.
This is the lighter one. One's light and one's dark. That's how it's been every day.
It is. The first batch you made, both of them looked a little lighter than mine be. Anyway, you're doing good. But I fell off, so it's a challenge.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Anyway.
Right, exactly. I had to point fingers at somebody. All right, anyway. Glass house vibes. All right, cool. Typically, the work as an entrepreneur is front loaded. Meaning if you really lock in, you can do all the work to set up systems, to set up to set up high income strategies, to put people in place to where you can chill for a long time. This guy took 10 years off and only came back because he wanted to. Can you imagine working hard, building a business, maybe selling a company, and then taking the next 10 years to see what every day of that 24 hours looks like? Can you imagine that? But entrepreneurship is like that. It's front loaded. I am blessed to be in a position where I don't have to work as hard as I used to physically, even though I do because there's another level. But just right now, I don't have to work super hard, but nobody saw from 2010 to about 2019. Y'all know this call has been going on for 4 years. Y'all just got here. I've been here. And I've worked really, 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 really hard. Now, the crazy thing is I haven't stopped working hard. I can, but I haven't stopped working hard because I know I'm trying to put more years in the bank. I feel like every year that I work really, really hard, it affords me like 5 years on the back end. That's just how I feel. So that's what entrepreneurship can provide. Check this out. The dignity of bumping your full potential. Knowing that I've done something as an entrepreneur and I'm reaching my full potential. I think that's dope. All right. Here's another thing. Here's another pro to entrepreneurship. And this is what I found. Jobs will typically take care of one family. One family, for the most part. Jobs will typically take care of one family. You, your spouse, your children, taken care of. As entrepreneurs, however, you have the ability to make so much money, you can start to reach out and take care of other members of your family. Like going up, mom, dad, like aunt, uncle, favorite cousin, nieces, nephews, grandchildren's families, setting them up. That's what I like about entrepreneurship, because I believe a job, I think, who said this? I want to say it was Myron. He said, a phrase like, I make 6 figures is the most selfish phrase in the world. Because 6 figures, 100,000 can probably take care of one family. But entrepreneurship, the income is unlimited. But let me go through this. Let's go through some cons, though, of entrepreneurship. Throw some cons in the chat if you don't mind. The cons of entrepreneurship. Another pro, you cannot pass down that job. This is a pro of entrepreneurship. You cannot pass down that job. You can do something one time and your work can be passed down. Isn't that cool? Your work, the things that you've done can live on for generations and you can see the fruit of it.
Think of a number in your head. How much do you think it would cost for me, a pretty successful entrepreneur, to coach you every single day, to give you all of the game? I'm talking about every day for an entire year, Monday through Friday. I'm on a virtual call teaching you how I've done the things that I've done, and me updating you every single day in real time on all the business moves that I'm making, all the negotiations that I'm in, everything that I'm doing before I actually do it. How much you think? And let's say Monday through Friday, and then on Thursdays we do a Q&A where not only do you get a chance to ask your questions and get them answered, but you get to hear the answer from a whole community, hundreds of other people on a call, and you get their answers that are going to help you too. What do you think? And once or twice a year, get together, free conference that we all get to come to, and you get to meet all these people that you see virtually. How much do you think that would cost every single year? 10,000? Not even close. It would probably be closer to 100,000 because it's just, my time is valuable, and to give you the sauce that's going to help you make millions, I'd have to charge you at least 100,000. But what I've done is created a community where you get the advantage of learning how to become an entrepreneur. You get to network with hundreds of entrepreneurs every single day. You got a community that keeps you inspired and excited. You will read a book club with us every single day. We'll also have an event where we come together once or twice a year for free. We do all of that for $399 for the year. Go ask somebody. I've got receipts of things that I built over the last decade, okay? I am willing to coach you. $399 for the year. Listen, go to themorningmeetup.com or click the link in this video. Let's get back to the episode, but keep in mind, I want to coach you. Let's get started.
Okay. Oh, man, I got so much to say about that. But the cons. Here's a real con of entrepreneurship. And my message today is, you do not have to be an entrepreneur to be happy, no matter what Instagram tells you. Okay. Ambition becomes a drug that never gets you high enough. So one of the things you will constantly see entrepreneurs deal with is over-ambition because it becomes a drug that never gets you high enough. So you have to keep going. You'll set a target, say, I got to make this amount of money. When my business gets here, then I'm going to spend more time with my family. I don't know the stats, but if I had to guess, I would say 95% of the time, as soon as they get to where they thought they wanted to be, the activities never change because you get a taste of progression and you want some more of that. And you think that when you get that hit of success, it gets you high enough where you don't want it anymore, but you keep smoking it. You have to keep taking it. You got to keep going to another level. You got to keep getting higher as an entrepreneur. And the ambition only intensifies with success because you understand what you can accomplish. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. You can lose yourself in the pursuit of success. This is dangerous. I'm just telling you, it's from experience. I got to a place in business one time where I didn't like who I was becoming. It didn't last long. But I just didn't like the person. I wasn't like cheating anybody or getting over, but it's hard for me to explain, and maybe I'll write it in a book one day, but I did not like who I was becoming. And I didn't see it, but other people saw it. And it would say certain things to me. And then I judged them because they just didn't understand this level of success. And I'm looking at them like, you're not as successful as I am. So who are you to tell me? I didn't like who I was becoming. Y'all okay with this? Y'all not judging me, right? Y'all not judging me? I'm just saying, prepare yourself. Prepare, you will change a little. The more money you make, you will change. Whether you like it or not. And then you have to keep that thing in check. You got to be surrounded around another. The thing that keeps me in check these days is the fact that I'm in church all day Saturday and Tuesday evening, every single week. It's set up this way, and we study it, and we can study it at some point. There's like prayer times in the Bible where you pray every day. According to the season, it's 9 and 2:30. And the fact, I am so grateful that God set it up that way, because twice a day, in the middle of the day, in the middle of my entrepreneurship, in the middle of my feeling of I am this person, my prayer alarm goes off, and I get to check myself again one more time constantly. I'm thankful for that. Because as you grow as an entrepreneur, you will change. Just put it in the chat. Has anyone ever experienced that? And maybe it's not you, maybe it's you've experienced from someone else. You're like, yo, why? Who is this? But the thing is, that person can't see it. They can't see it because it's not like change overnight. It's just gradually. Okay. Another ambition. Another con of entrepreneurship is the burden is solely on your shoulders. Get this, even if you have a team, the burden is on your shoulders to succeed. And check this out, the more team members you have, the bigger the burden. Because the bigger your team expands, if there's internal conflict, then things like balls will be dropped, and that affects everybody. And when things go right, it's praise for the team. But when things go wrong, it's all your fault. Are you prepared for that pressure? You have to really prepare your mind for entrepreneurial success. I don't think these are pros. I don't think these are like benefits of entrepreneurship. Check this out. As an entrepreneur, you're the last one to eat. You're the last one to eat. The first one to do the work, the last one to eat. Like I said, you do the majority of work. If it works out, it's the team's fault. It was because the team did it. So you get no praise and glory for that. And if you do try to take all the praise and glory, the team will leave you because they feel we made this happen. But when everything comes crashing down, imagine making a certain amount of money this month, but you already have commitments to pay them out to the team, and they did the work, and you get the scraps at the end. Entrepreneurship is not sweet. It's not what you think it is. And you can spend your whole life trying to become the success. And you look back and say, yo, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. I wish. But the time's going now. You spent your life chasing something. It's just the gamble. Because I want you to go at it because you probably will succeed, but it's a possibility that you won't. I just want you to prepare your life for that journey. Just prepare yourself for this journey. Check this out. Anxiety. Golly. And there's a bunch of anxiety. The anxiety of expected results. The anxiety of what other people expect from you. The anxiety, check this out. You know what's worse than not succeeding? You know what's worse? What's worse than not succeeding is succeeding and then not succeeding. Yo, what I tell you, what's worse than like becoming successful, or what's worse than not becoming successful, is becoming successful and then you give it all back and then people still see you as this person that they met. And you could tell the judge, are you still doing that little thing? You're like, nah. I don't know if you ever risen and then had to go get a job, or people see you driving Uber, and the anxiety of picking up somebody who once saw you successful. And you have to mask it with, oh, I'm only doing this because I want to meet people. You got to come up with stuff. I hope this never happens. This is pressure. On another level, I've experienced this, okay? So I was working at the Olive Garden. And they fired me. And I went all in on prepaid legal. I was a prepaid legal associate. And I was so ambitious. I'm recruiting people. I'm making money. And I go to the top of the company. It's called executive director. And as an executive director, every meeting, you get to go to the front of the room. And there are like thousands of people that are in Atlanta at this time that see me at the top of the company. But then things got bad. And I had to go get a job at the Cheesecake Factory. The biggest anxiety that I lived with for probably a year is someone coming in that saw me go to the front of the room as the success. And now I'm serving their tables. Anxiety. Golly, look, the anxiety of not knowing when the next check is coming. Just put it in the chat real quick. If you are an entrepreneur and you are expecting some money to come through, to close a deal, to make a sale, and it just doesn't happen. The anxiety of that happening over and over again. And then every time you think you're about to get some money, it starts playing in your mind that there's a possibility that by Friday, when the money's supposed to come, it's not coming. I understand that. I know that. Or the insecurities of not being good enough. Or the insecurities of feeling like you got lucky. Listen, do y'all know? Can I be honest? Y'all not judging me, right? Just put it in chat, just make sure. I know how people get. The feeling of I got lucky. I don't know if I can sustain this success. Now, if I'm on stage and I'm speaking, it's pure confidence. But every now and again, to this day, you still got to look over your shoulder to say, yo, was it good timing? Was it good timing? Was it the fact that the government poured so much money into the economy and I was able to capitalize on that? But when they start taking this money away, and when these inflated lifestyles come about, will the money still be the same? Can I sustain? Was it this market condition? Were we in one of those times where everything's great for everybody, but how long would this last? These are feelings. These are real feelings. I can do without this pressure. But you can lose it all. There's fear of losing everything that haunts you, which is why I've learned something from my mentors. Like, yo, when you're making money, you take the money and then put it into something that, get this, is recession proof. Shout out to him, Bob. If you are making money, to relieve that pressure, you have to say, okay, well, I put my money over here. And this is another thing that's indestructible. It grows slower, but it's indestructible. I was talking to my man, Mike Sims, and he said, yo, do yourself a favor, pay off your house. And this is like somebody that's way up. I'm talking about up, like super, one of the probably top 3 up people that I know personally. He said, hey, man, pay your house off. You never know what's going to happen. But if your house is paid off, that's one note you don't have to worry about that you took care of when things were good. So we're going to just pay the house off. All right, cool. Okay. Can I give some advice real quick? Because we only have like 12 minutes. I am encouraging entrepreneurship for those that want to be entrepreneurs. But for those that don't want to be entrepreneurs, here's the best advice I can give you. Find someone that you trust as an entrepreneur and be a part of their team. Find someone that you trust. Find someone that you say, yo, being real with myself, I don't know if I want to even deal with the pressures and anxieties of entrepreneurship, but I do add value. Because I'm talking to an entrepreneur, that entrepreneur will understand that I want to elevate too. I don't want to do the work that person's putting in. Find somebody. My man CJ gave me the best advice ever. And it wasn't necessarily advice for me, but it was like good advice for someone. He said something that was so profound. He said, if you're having a hard time as an entrepreneur building a team, find someone. He said you need to be a part of a team. If you're having a hard time building a team, that simply means you need to be a part of a team. So anytime someone tells me, oh my gosh, I don't have a team, I can't keep a team, I need a team, what that tells me about that person without me telling them is you probably need to be a part of a team. Nothing wrong with being a part of a team, but it still has to make sense. I'm still in a mode where I'm fully aware that I can't do everything and I would love to be a part of a team. It's just the team has to make sense for you. There are certain people that add value, that have an opportunity, a part of the team that can make way more money. That just simply means they have to add value to the situation that's going on. And that's really cool for you too, because you don't have to have the burden of everything. You're going to have to bear some burden and take responsibility because that's what makes you more valuable to the entrepreneur, to the business. Okay. Find an entrepreneur that you can learn and work through. This is my advice. Also, be patient. Don't be afraid to grow slowly. Okay? This is just some advice for all of those entrepreneurs, wantrepreneurs, people who desire to be entrepreneurs. Don't be afraid to grow slowly, but enjoy life in the moment. Enjoy it. Don't lose yourself in ambition. So I tell this story. It's so funny. I tell this story of, it's in my book too, Dreams Are Built Overnight, that I was at Ryan's, right? Where I was, and fast forward the story because we don't have a lot of time, where I'm in line with a guy and he says, man, long story short, the story's much better if I have more time to tell it. But long story short, he was at his job for like 50 years, something like that. And he said he only remembered over this time period, he only remembers two events. He remembers when his daughter was born because he was able to take off work. And then he remembers when her daughter was born. He said the rest of it was just full of work, 9 to 5, all day. He said, I just don't remember I don't have many memories that don't involve work. He said, I have those memories where we went on a trip, but I had to cut the trip short because I had to get back to work. Or something life-changing happens, then he has to get off work to go see it. I just remember having this conversation. But as an entrepreneur, time can fly by just as fast in the pursuit of something. And you forget why you're here and who you are. And you don't have any good memories. So now I've learned, I've matured, and I've learned I need to be home by like 5, 6 o'clock. I need to take my wife out every couple of weeks. Like every week or so, I try to go. Like now there are times where I'm working, but when I'm like working really hard, I'm home to spend time with my wife and family. And sometimes I got to, it's so much that I'm learning this process, because time with my wife and my children is not time with my wife. So I have to segment it. So I still got to take my wife out. And if we don't go out for a couple of weeks because of what have you, like things going on, then we got to go out. Like when I carve out time, we'll go out a couple times that week. I'm still learning. But this entrepreneurship stuff is hard. But do not be afraid to grow slowly. Do not be afraid to find out who you are. And let entrepreneurship be the gym that helps you strengthen who you are, not what you do. Learn through this process. I'm loving the process that I'm in right now, because yes, I am ambitious and I'm going after stuff, but as I'm going after stuff, I'm learning about myself. And I'm trying to fix certain things about myself. They're showing up in business, but these are like flaws that I have as a person. But I'm aware of them now. And of course, I'm probably going to look back 5 years from now and say, well, I had no idea what I was doing. And ideally, I'll be much wiser and I'll be much more aware of what's going on. I'll probably see how now I am a trash husband and father. Hopefully, because that means I'm at another level. And that's what I desire for you. But real quick, let's talk about jobs real quick. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. I believe there are some pros to jobs, because jobs allow you to predict your income, which alleviates a lot of stress and pressure, because you know what's coming. You know what's coming. You can predict your income. Number 2, you do have an opportunity to advance. Don't get it twisted. You can become a millionaire on a job. It's more rare. But if you provide enough value, you can become rich on a job. I was talking to my man. I wish I could tell y'all this text message, but moral of the story, he's looking for an assistant, a full-time assistant, but his last assistant doesn't work with him anymore because she got rich. So he has to find another assistant. I texted him, I was like, yo, your assistants get rich? He said, yeah. I said, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, you get a structured schedule. I think that's a pro. I think that's pretty cool. Oh, Mike Sims' episode is dropping today too. If you are not subscribed to the Social Proof Podcast, do me a favor, like on your phone right now, go subscribe to the Social Proof Podcast on both podcasts and YouTube. And I want you to turn your notifications on, because you really need to see this episode. It's a high level. It's going to get, look, for the people who are thinking just now, like, you know what? I don't necessarily need to be an entrepreneur. You're going to watch that joint like, yeah, I'm back. You're like, yeah, I'm back. I'm back to entrepreneurship. But anyway, yes. So go to Social Proof Podcast and subscribe. How many people just subscribed right now? Just, you weren't subscribed before, but you are subscribed right now. Social Proof Podcast. Oh, yeah. And yes, we got the YouTube in there. Thank you so much, Marlon. You the GOAT. You the GOAT. All right. And lastly, I think one of the pros of having a job is mistakes don't cost as much. As a job, mistakes don't cost as much. It doesn't cost you as much. Anywho, I hope that you didn't learn something that I hope every lesson from today wasn't taught. I hope that some were caught. Where you read in between the lines of somewhere you are, and you say, yep, this is an adjustment I need to make. There are pros and cons of entrepreneurship, but I don't believe that's the most important part of life. I believe the most important part of life is becoming happy and healthy.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.